Well, hey guys, welcome to
Hello.
Laird Wellness Live with Scott and Jody. Jody is here this week as
Yes.
usual. We made this at 8:30 so she can make it. And so thank you for joining us a little bit later. We're going to make this a half hour.
Right.
If you saw my recent Facebook post just a little while ago, you saw all of this stuff that we put up there. So there's a lot to go through. We're going to go fast, but we're going to make it easy to absorb it. There's a heck of a lot of stuff here we want to talk about in the heavy metal makeover. Now, as you probably guessed, that was just a play on words. We're not talking about heavy metal, anything like that. We are talking about, like as far as music, we are talking about heavy metals, though, in terms of cadmium, mercury, aluminum, all of these things that get in your body and have a hard time getting out. And so what we're going to do is identify them for you, tell you where they're coming from, and how to get rid of them. And how to get rid of them is not the extreme thing that you might think. There are some extreme ways to get rid of it, and you might have to go to some of those extremes if you have a really heavy mercury poisoning, like Tony Robbins had that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He had really severe mercury poisoning, and he had to go through this whole detox thing.
So wait, from having mercury fillings or from getting them taken out?
No, not mercury fillings at all. You know where it came from? It came from fish. He was eating a ton of fish, and he thought that was his answer. That because Tony Robbins, he's kind of a health guru as well, and so he thought that fish was his answer. Boy, he was eating fish like no tomorrow, and he ate so much fish that he built up this mercury, and that's what we want to get at. That this is a buildup. It's not one thing. So no, we're not going to point the finger at vaccines. No, we're not going to point the finger at tattoos or not at fish or whatever. I mean, it comes from a bunch of things.
Right.
I mean, even my dad, I remember my dad telling me, he lived to be 85. We've talked about him in the last couple of weeks. And I remember him telling me when he was a kid in science class, they played with mercury.
Oh,
in their hands.
We did that as well.
Oh my God.
And that was the
that's crazy.
mid-70s, early 80s.
Oh, man, that is nuts.
We used to break thermometers on purpose in order to play with the mercury.
Because it's so fun. It's so wild. Yeah, anyway.
Crazy.
Okay, so heavy metals. As we just said, it's built up bit by bit, year by year. It's not this one thing, and oh my gosh, I got mercury poisoning. No, it's usually it's a buildup over time, and then people start noticing I got brain fog, I got headaches. I can't think like I used to. I'm missing words and this kind of thing.
Right.
That's mercury poisoning, guys. So that's what you got to watch out for. Now, first of all, usually when we're looking at things to blame, we're aiming at the wrong target. And this is what I want us to think about tonight, because this is going to come up in several points. But the analogy I want to give you is genetically modified foods. I wrote a book called Growing Concern, all about genetically modified foods. I used to write advertisements for Monsanto.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about, okay? So I've seen the other side. I know how they work. I know how they sell it.
One day you need to talk about that. You need to tell us your story about Monsanto and Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
That'll be a good show.
I interviewed the first guy that actually beat Monsanto in court, and it was not over some big thing. It was over a small claims thing, and he won $600.
Yeah.
after going through millions of dollars worth of legal fees to try and beat them at something else. But that's just another
great story though. It's a
it'll be a great story. But anyway, so what I want to get is GMOs. So everybody points at GMOs, and then they say that's the problem, and then scientists say, guys, there's no scientific evidence that genetically modified foods are a problem. And people keep raising, oh, yes, there is. I don't know, and I don't care. That may sound a little bit weird, but I don't care what the genetic modification does to the food, because the more emergent thing is what it allows the farmer to do to the food when it's growing. See, genetically modified food, it's modified to resist a certain brand of herbicide. So what does that mean? That means that instead of spraying the crop once, it is now basically immune to that herbicide, and the farmer can spray it again and again and again and again. And that's the problem. That genetically modified foods, whether genetic modification actually does anything, is not really the issue. The issue is that it's going to have a much, much higher concentration of insecticide and herbicide.
Right.
Weed killer and bug killer.
Right.
In the food. And that's the problem. That's the real problem. And in fact, that's where some of the heavy metals come in that we're going to talk about later. So when we talk about GMO foods are the problem, it's not really the problem. It's what they're doing with it that is the problem.
Got it.
So vaccines, for example, are not really the problem. I mean, even talking to Dr. Buttar, he says that, putting something in the body to get it used to that and create antibodies to fight it, that's a normal thing. The problem is what we're putting in the vaccine along with that technology. That's the bad part. So we've got to aim for the right target when we're saying that something is bad or where something comes from. Right. So now the body is always getting rid of heavy metals. It's a slow thing. Like we said, it's not a rush thing. It's going over time, just like diseases and mercury and other heavy metals will build up over time.
Yeah.
You also you need to take time to bring it down. For example, here's an equation, a really rough equation that we used to use when I worked at Healthy Diet. And that was, if it takes 10 years for cancer to build up to the point where you feel a lump in the breast or something like that, it will take approximately 1 month of an aggressive nutritional protocol to reverse the symptoms of that cancer. So basically, you're taking 1 month for every year that the cancer built up. So if it took 10 years to build up, it's going to take about 10 to 12 months to get rid of it. So it takes a long time. It takes longer to build up, and it takes a relatively long time to bring it back down. That's what we need to do with heavy metals. So what are heavy metals? What do they do? Okay, so I'm just going to read you some stuff here, what exactly they are. This is from the Functional Medicine University. Excellent place to get stuff online. It's all free for the taking. Go ahead and look at it. It's at fmusupport.com.
Okay.
What are heavy metal or toxic metals is what they call it. Toxic metals are metals that are not required or of use to your body. Okay, makes sense. Mercury is the example we are probably most familiar with. Toxic metals can also be variations of metals for which there is a biological use, but the wrong form is toxic. Okay. Here's some of the confusion that's been in the news of late. When I say of late, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, 5-10 years, I would say.
Yeah. This is something that a lot of natural people with natural health websites put up there are not really understanding what they're talking about. So there's organic and inorganic. Okay, so organic means it comes from a plant source. Inorganic means it comes from a non-living source.
Okay.
They're two completely different things, especially when it comes to your vitamins. We've talked about that before.
Right.
So, like for example, calcium. If you're going to take calcium in a supplement, which I don't do, I educate people that do your homework before you start doing something like that. But you don't want to just take calcium that is from a rock because your body cannot assimilate a rock. But a plant that takes calcium from the soil and basically through the plant's processes converts it. It converts it into an organic source. Now you're getting it from a plant, something your body can now use. So that's the organic version.
Right.
It doesn't mean organic conventional when you're talking about organic foods. It's living or not living. So this is what we also have to think about when we're talking about heavy metals or toxic metals. Arsenic, for example. This is what I'm getting at. People said, stay away from rice. It has arsenic. Yeah. You know what? Your body can deal with the arsenic that's in rice a lot better than it can with just a toxic metal.
Right.
And it's still not good for your body, but your body is a lot more apt to know how to get rid of it. And so,
like the seeds of apples.
Yeah, have
arsenic, isn't it?
No, they don't have arsenic. They have cyanide.
Cyanide, but
you can still overload on them, and that's why you're not supposed to feed apples to horses because they can eat them and eat them and eat them and eat them, and pretty soon you've got enough cyanide to kill a horse, quite literally. And so, yeah, that can happen. But with rice and arsenic, yes, it's a concern, and no, it's not really that much of a concern. So you have to know the difference there.
Right.
Now, here's something interesting you might be curious about.
Okay.
That toxic metals can significantly alter your thyroid function.
Yes.
Specifically, they impair the T4 to T3 conversion.
Uh-huh.
And so it also makes, get this, it makes it impossible if the toxic metals are standing in the way of your thyroid function, it can make it impossible for you to lose weight.
Well.
Because it won't allow the body to get rid of it. It's kind of, the body like messes up the, it's like giving your body Alzheimer's. You can tell the body what to do, it doesn't know what to do with it. it just kind of loses its memory on what to do with it. So that's what toxic metals can do as far as your thyroid function. Now, what kind of metals are we talking about here? I just list a few that you might be familiar with. Now, aluminum. We drink a lot of stuff out of like even the healthy sodas, that have no sugar in them, that just have stevia, that kind of thing. The
Or
Zevia brand
bubbly.
we talked about, or bubblies
Which
from
is just water,
Walmart.
carbonated water.
I need to do more research into that because
I don't feel great about that.
yeah, I believe there's a lining in the cans that they have to do by law, but I'm not entirely sure. And like you, I'm kind of, that can, aluminum's not great. You don't want that in your body, and it can build up over time. And,
Yeah.
And I also have amalgam still. You and the kids don't, but I still have about 5 or 6. I have to go to Dr. Tom Loken's and get those taken out.
Right.
Because he knows what he's doing. By the way, don't go to a regular dentist to take them out, because they're not versed in having the special equipment to keep the mercury from going down your throat and back into your bloodstream, which is completely.
And when was that? Probably when we moved here. Probably we've been here for 13 years, and probably 8 to 10 years ago, I got my amalgams removed. I just felt a real urgency to get those removed, but I went to a regular conventional dentist, and he did a really good job, but I really don't know the long-lasting effects of.
Maybe that's why it's taking so long for your thyroid to respond. You never know.
I've thought about that more than once.
We need to get you a metals test. You can do that. You can do hair samples and stuff like that, and you can get your heavy metals tested. But
I did get my heavy metals tested by Dr. Ernst. That was in the full
And that was not one of the issues?
No, it
was
not.
All right.
No, thank the Lord.
That's good to know. So I guess it can be done by a regular dentist, but it's not 100%,
He
right?
took a lot of precautions because he knew how I felt about it. So kudos to him for doing that, Dr. Kelly in Gastonia.
Okay, well, not all dentists are the same. There you
Right.
go. So aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, nickel, whole bunch of things there. A lot of nickel in earrings.
Yes.
Okay, and that's all we wanted to say about that. So those are the sources of the metals. Now, well, some of the sources. We have more here. Mercury, now here's something we're going to get into. There's several different forms of mercury, and sometimes when people talk about mercury being in vaccines, they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
And the medical community will laugh at them and ridicule them with good reason, because they don't know what they're talking about. They just use this general term, mercury. Well, there's ethyl mercury and methyl mercury, two completely different things.
Okay.
However, and the medical community will cite, well, there's no research that says that ethyl mercury, the one that's being used in the vaccines, is dangerous. Well, they're not aware of every study. Now, we're going to bring one up for you in a second here. Okay, so mercury in any form is, by definition, poisonous.
Okay.
Your body doesn't need it. You should not be having it in your system, regardless of whether it's dangerous, quote unquote, or not. It can still build up. It's not good. So the most deadly form of mercury is methyl mercury. Reading this from another source here. Excuse me. Methyl mercury forms when bacteria reacts with mercury in the water, plants, and the soil. Yeah, interesting. And so I'm just hypothetically putting things together here. So when people say that vaccines cause autism, people will say, well, that's not true. There's no link. It's true. There's not a link. Because what happens is it's one step removed. And autism will happen because of a gut malfunction. But what caused that gut malfunction? If a kid goes to the doctor and gets a vaccine and he's not the same when he comes home, the parent has to use deductive reasoning. Come on, what caused this?
Okay.
There has to be some kind of, well, A equals B. Why did this happen? Johnny was fine yesterday. He goes to the doctor and today he's got autism. What the heck? So it does happen. It doesn't happen to everybody. Friends of mine have babies. They had their babies vaccinated. No problem at all. It's, but who knows? It's just like it's like an underlying health condition when you get COVID-19. You don't know what you've got going on, and that's why some people are really nervous about this, because they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So anyway, long story short, is what I'm saying is that the vaccine is one step removed, so it cannot be blamed for autism per se.
Right.
It caused a gut malfunction. The gut malfunction, there's something called the enteric nervous system. It's a superhighway between the gut and the brain. If there's massive gut trauma, it will affect the brain. And in a young kid, That's what happens. That's why their brain goes a little sideways, and it can cause autism. So, and that's what vaccines will do. They'll cause a problem in the gut for some kids. So,
but I also believe that other things can do that as well, like
for sure.
Gluten.
Oh, gluten. Yeah, we've seen it in our own son where he had not autism, but he had a facial tic. He just kind of kept winking like this. And we were like, what is Dan doing? And wild mood swings and things like this. And we took gluten out of his diet because we realized the connection between the gut and the brain. Yeah. When we learned about the enteric nervous system. And so took gluten out of his diet, and completely different kid.
Yeah.
So
wow. It took, though, a while. It took being, I think, about 4 weeks of having him completely rid of gluten that it changed his...
Yeah, you got to be rid of gluten for several weeks, a good couple of months, if not more, to get it completely out of the system.
And if you mess up by giving gluten again for about a week, you got to redo the whole process. Yep.
Okay, other sources of mercury, the dental amalgams, we may not mention that. Fluorescent and mercury lamps. This is why you never want to break a fluorescent lamp in the garbage or something like that and be near it. No, that is really bad. Yeah. You don't want to be near that. But in the United States, the exposure to mercury is primarily through fish, eating fish, which we already mentioned, which was Tony Robbins' issue.
Yeah. I wonder how much fish.
I don't know, but Tony Robbins is a big guy. He could probably take a lot of fish. He's probably eating a lot of fish. And also, here's some other things you may not know. Okay, so fungicides it's in antiseptics. It's in embalming agents. Well, I guess unless you're a mortician, you're not going to encounter that a lot. Insecticidal products. Laundry products. I want to know more detail about that. Which laundry products? Is it in the dryer sheets? Is it in the liquids? What is it in?
I don't know, but I've heard dryer sheets are really... not good.
Yeah, mercury is in them. Wow, didn't know that. Okay, diaper products.
Yeah.
Jeez, which diaper products? Putting that on our babies. Okay, and again, not one of these things is going to cause a problem. It's a slow build up over time. It's not like you see one of these and, oh, alarm bells. Oh my God, diapers are going to cause problems. No, come on. But we just got to be cautious.
And do your research.
And then start detoxing, which is what we're really trying to get to tonight, okay? So some other things that are in there. Cosmetics, disinfectants, fireworks. 4th of July coming up. Keep that in mind. Interesting. Yeah. And tattoo inks. Okay, so this is where we want to get into. And it's not just mercury in tattoo inks. It's aluminum as well. Here is something that I want to read to you from... this is from Dr. Russell Blaylock, his Blaylock Wellness Report. A lot of doctors are quoting him lately. I've heard a couple of them.
Yes, I've heard a couple this week.
3, in fact, from us and 2 others. So we're not doctors, but 2 other doctors and us are talking about this because he knows a lot of stuff about the brain. Anytime anything comes up that's going to affect the brain, he's talking about it.
Right.
And so this was from July of last year. This is not talking about COVID-19 or anything. He's just talking about tattoos. He just happened to have an article about tattoos. So he says, another source of aluminum, this whole thing is about aluminum, his newsletter. Another source of aluminum that is growing by leaps and bounds is tattoo ink. With women increasingly getting tattoos, especially those being tattooed on or near the breast. So I see a lot of women doing stuff up here, that kind of stuff. You know where this is going. Even on the shoulders and other skin areas, sharing lymph nodes with the breast. Oh, I bet you really know where this is going now. There should be a major concern about cancer development. That's for the same reason that antiperspirant is not recommended, because antiperspirant has aluminum.
Right.
And what's the purpose of the aluminum? It's to stop the perspiration.
Right.
Well, the perspiration is the lymph nodes dumping the trash. That's what sweat is. Okay, that's urine, feces, sweat, acne. That's how your body pushes stuff out. Eczema, psoriasis. This is all your body trying to push things out.
Toxic.
And so it's not that you treat eczema on the outside. Well, you do just for comfort, but then you've got to start thinking, why is this happening?
Right.
What's happening inside systemically that is causing this eczema to come out? What is the body trying to push out?
Right.
So the body is trying to push out sweat when we're talking about antiperspirant. And if you block that, the body goes, well, I can't push it out. What am I going to do? So they're lymph nodes right here. That's because when you feel under your arm when you're ill, just same as under here, you can feel the lymph nodes kind of swollen.
Inflamed.
Yeah. So it backs up, and what's the nearest fat tissue? Remember, That's where toxins build up, in the fat, in the breasts.
Yeah.
Breast cancer risk. Okay, so be careful.
Yeah.
Now, here's something interesting. The girls like the bright colors on the tattoos. Brightly colored tattoos have the highest level of toxins because they have to have the highest metals in there to keep the pigment strong, to keep the color.
I get that.
The metals keep the color. And so that's the dangerous part. So the brightest colors, and right now the trend is, there's a lot of very talented tattoo artists out there.
There's some beautiful tattoos.
Yeah, beautiful
Absolutely.
tattoos. The different kind of shading and stuff, and people's faces almost look 3D. I mean, the art has really come a long, long way. And a lot of that is these new colors that they're in. The tattoos are getting more and more colorful and elaborate, and it's beautiful. But they can have potential dangers. And we just, it's one of those things where there's not enough testing to really know yet.
Yeah.
So everybody's kind of being a human guinea pig. Hopefully it doesn't equate to anything. Like I said, it's just another one of these things that piles up. It's not like tattoos are the major enemy and they're the major source of mercury in your body. No, come on. It's one thing. Okay, but we're just laying it all out there so you can say, okay, well, I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be doing that, or that. Reduce it all and then get to the detox, which we're going to. We have 9 minutes. We said we're going to be done by 9. So, okay. Boron, by the way, has been shown to be significantly lower. Nope, sorry, that's from something else. I'm going to save that for another time. I had two sets of notes here. But here's another thing about the metals, specifically aluminum. These metals increase inflammation within the lymph nodes and breast tissues, which is a major mechanism for cancer induction. That's always the first thing. The inflammation, basically body trying to get rid of something, major cell activity going on there. Before you know it, one cell goes awry, another cell goes awry, and boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Now you have cancer.
Yeah.
Because if it confuses the cells and the cell doesn't know what to do and it starts replicating uncontrollably, that's a cancer cell.
Correct.
So here's another. Okay, so we got the vaccines, you got the metal drinking cans, you've got the mercury lights, the amalgams, all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's some things I need to be working on. Foods, vaccines, municipal water, drinking water, the fish. It's everywhere. This stuff is everywhere. You just got to reduce it as much as possible. So here,
how do we do that?
Well, first of all, we're going to get into the methyl and ethyl thing.
Okay.
So the big bad word with everybody who's an anti-vaxxer, if you want to be labeled that way, or someone who's cautious about vaccines, is thimerosal. Okay,
right.
That's
the word that you need to look for.
Yeah, that's the mercury in the vaccines. Well, this is ethyl mercury. Okay, so ethyl mercury. Here's something interesting. It was used as a preservative in vaccines since the 1930s. It's been used for a long time, but now it is only in one vaccine, the flu vaccine. So you can say, well, I don't take a flu vaccine. Okay, what is the thing we're going through right now? This is a flu. Let's hope they don't put it in the COVID-19 vaccine that they're going to mandate possibly to everybody. So let's just hope this doesn't come to fruition. Okay, this is just another danger we don't need to be dealing with.
Right.
What is it for? Why the heck did they put it in there? Well, it's a preservative that's necessary for preventing dangerous bacteria. Okay, I can respect that, but isn't there something else I can use? Or fungal contamination. But thimerosal has since become a major source of vaccine safety concerns. Yes, well, they say, while mercury is a naturally occurring element found in soil, water, and food, large amounts of it can be harmful, especially in children. Okay, it's a cumulative thing. Okay, it's not like you just throw a brick down on the ground and say, there's a wall.
Right.
No, it builds up over time. Okay, your body slowly gets rid of it. And you can expedite that with something we're going to show you in a second. Okay, I better hurry because I'm never going to get to it. Okay, so now the type of mercury found in thimerosal, ethyl mercury, ethyl with an E, not methyl with an M,
right,
differs from methyl mercury, the type commonly found in fish. Okay, that's the dangerous one. That's the one that was causing Tony Robbins the problem. And known to be harmful in large amounts, which he did find to be true. Ethyl mercury is broken down and excreted from the body much more quickly than methyl mercury. Okay, and no scientific study has found a link between ethyl mercury and autism. Well, why would they be looking at that anyway? Or any other harmful effects. This is what I was saying. They're aiming for the wrong target. No one ever said that mercury was the cause of autism. And they're saying, mercury is not the cause of autism. There's no scientific study. And then that gets people going, there, see? It doesn't cause autism. Yeah,
Right.
The issue was never mercury, you guys. It's something going on with the vaccines that's causing the gut problem, that's causing the autism. No one ever said it was mercury. No one even really is correct in saying it's really the vaccine. It's what the vaccine is doing. Like I said, it's not like the GMO is bad. It's what is surrounding and makes the GMO a GMO. The fact that they can put more pesticide and herbicide. That's the problem. It's the wrong target. Who cares if mercury doesn't cause autism? There's no studies. It doesn't matter. That's not the target. Excuse me for getting upset about that. I hate that. I hate it when people, because then it's like everybody goes, oh, okay, well, there you go. No, that's not the study.
There's
it's
so
not
many
the issue.
we don't know.
Right. Okay, so therefore, and because it's one step removed, the vaccine companies can say not guilty, and essentially they're right, because there is no direct correlation. Now, today there is no vaccine except influenza that contains thimerosal, but there are thimerosal-free alternatives, which we did find out when we had to do our vaccines.
Yes.
Remember?
The live versus the dead.
Yeah, there was something in there. Yeah, maybe that was the issue.
Yeah.
When we were doing our green card stuff.
The one up the nose was the live one, and that's the one we didn't get because that one contained thimerosal.
Yeah.
Because it had to keep it alive. And we took the one that didn't contain, obviously, the thimerosal, which was the dead one. Right.
So when we were cornered with our vaccines, see, this is why I continually use Barley Max every day. This is one thing we're going to show you. Because I just, we've had to do some things we didn't want to do, and maybe we're all going to have to do that.
Like wearing masks.
Like wearing masks and all this kind of stuff. By the way, there's a big fight about that in North Carolina. Big entertainment. Go look online. It's fun. The lieutenant governor.
Today was day one for us wearing masks at our job.
Well, the lieutenant governor is now cornering the governor on it.
Uh-oh.
He's suing him over it. Yeah,
uh-oh.
Crazy. It's fun to watch. Watch the fireworks, folks. Okay, so aluminum is used as an adjuvant in vaccines, as is peanut oil, which I suspect may cause the peanut allergy in my daughter. I have no proof.
We don't have proof.
But it's a hypothetical, isn't that interesting? Because no one else is allergic to peanuts in our whole family.
Right.
Extended family or otherwise. Okay, so basically an adjuvant makes the vaccine more effective by strengthening the immune system's response. Okay, whatever. Okay, so again, it all builds up. So how do you get rid of it? This is not a single thing, a single one-time detox like we talked about. You can do that detox. That's a good start, especially if you have like a near poisoned kind of state. But you need to keep detoxing because mercury just slowly comes out of the body, and you can help it get out of the body by using foods. How about that? So, what were you going to say?
Well, I mean, literally, I was thinking that, you're going to talk about how to detox your body slow. And basically, I eat greens every single day. We put them in our smoothies. We make them for dinner. That's basically detoxing our body on a continual basis.
Yep, it is. Now, I wanted to show you something before we get out of the ethyl mercury thing. There was, they said that there was no study about ethyl mercury. Well, guess what? They don't know everything. That's what I was saying, because take a look at this. Thimerosal-derived ethyl mercury is a mitochondrial toxin in human astrocytes. A possible role of phentin chemistry in the oxidation breakdown of mtDNA. Okay, so in other words, what they're saying is it damages the mitochondria. The mitochondria are the engine that keep your cells going. So it may not have a direct poisonous effect, but it breaks you down slowly. So how about that? Now here is the conclusion that I want you to see in that. 1 second here. We're just going to switch it over 1 second. Okay, so check this out. This is the bottom line. The results of this study suggest that ethyl mercury is a mitochondrial toxin in human astrocytes. We believe that this finding is important, particularly since the number of diseases in which mitochondrial dysfunction has been implicated are rapidly increasing. So that is the problem. It's because it will cause disease to develop. It's not going to cause the disease. It's going to be one more hit that's going to cause you to maybe get something you don't want.
Wow.
Okay, so now what we need to do is, you heard me talk about foods that take away, that are chelators. What are chelators again? Chelate comes from the Greek word key, claw, and it grabs the toxins and pulls them out. Pulls them out through your sweat, your urine, your feces. It just gets it out of the body. Just grabs it and ushers it out.
Right.
Just like a bouncer. Think of a chelator as a bouncer. What are some good chelators for heavy metals specifically? Usually you think heavy metals. I don't know if you've ever done a heavy metals a detox, but some of those things are just nasty.
I have, but I
knock
think
you
it
on your
was
can
not
for a week.
Yeah, it wasn't a very.
It's not pleasant. I mean, it is like it's either coming out here or coming out the other end, and you're bedridden and you feel sick. It's almost like a chemo type of thing.
Well, that's how you know
awful.
you actually had the heavy metals, because
they're coming out.
The detox was awful.
Right. But now here are some things you can do to gradually get rid of those heavy metals. These are the chelators. Cilantro. You have a ton of it growing out in the garden.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay. Number 2, wild blueberries. These are some blueberries from our bushes. We have 9 bushes back there. We've been picking
I think
a gallon a day, literally.
Definitely the most bountiful year for our
we have literally 4 gallon bags frozen in our freezer right now because we don't know what to do with all of it. It's crazy.
And we eat them, but not that fast.
No, and they're chelators. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Get rid of the heavy metals. Another one, printed right here. I was surprised to see this. I went, hey, that's cool, because guess what? You can get this stuff from us. Barley grass juice powder. It says it right there. Barley, not wheatgrass, barley grass juice powder, which is Barley Max. And we're going to have a special deal for you in just a second here to do with Barley Max, okay? Because we want you to be able to get rid of the heavy metals in your body like we have. Everybody has some, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Might as well start getting rid of it now. And you've heard us talk about another product recently, and we're going to pair those two and give you some significant savings, and it's going to be cool. Okay, so another thing is green tea. My green tea's over there. I didn't even bring it over here. So I drink green tea every day now. Ever since my dad died a month ago, I went up to Canada and I figured I'm going to make some changes in my life. Just it was a good starting point. And I have not touched coffee since then. Not that there's anything wrong with coffee. It just negatively impacts my heart rhythm. I don't like that. But green tea doesn't do it to me. And it also is also a chelator. It also helps keep away prostate cancer, all kinds of things. So I'm drinking green tea every day. And I'm much happier for it. So green tea, barley grass juice, wild blueberries, and cilantro. And
just to name a few.
Just to name a few. And guess what? I didn't realize this, but the thing we were talking about recently, this little thing here, you've seen us bring this up for the last couple of weeks, Silidin. This is from Dr. Tom Lokensgaard. Provided it to us. We are very grateful. Everyone is loving it. It's running out the door. It's crazy. And we have a few left, though, so this is what we want you to pay attention to. It not only, we mentioned that it was good for hair, teeth, nails, bones, everything. It's good for that because what it does, it basically tells calcium where to go. I use the analogy of a brick wall in builders. Yeah. You don't take calcium. Calcium is like the bricks. You can't just throw bricks at a wall and say, there's a wall. You need to have the builders. Yeah. So the silicon is the builder. And so you need the builder. It tells calcium where to go, puts it where it belongs. If it doesn't go where it belongs, causes excess calcium in the muscles, which causes fibromyalgia. It causes too much calcium in the arteries, which causes hardening of the arteries, called arteriosclerosis. And it causes calcium to set up shop in the joints, which we call arthritis. Yeah, so all kinds of things. Arthritis. Arteriosclerosis, I already mentioned that. Yeah. So anyway, another thing I didn't realize Silidin does, we mentioned aluminum, and I thought, gee, I wonder if it takes away other heavy metals. Well, guess what? It's a chelator not just for aluminum, but overall toxic metal ratios were significantly improved. This is from a controlled evaluation of the influence of orthosilicic acid, which is exactly what Silidin is, on vitamin and mineral status and patient, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so a study using Silidin. Overall toxic metal ratios were significantly improved in all patients, indicating an enhanced ability to detoxify these compounds. Wow. It helps your body get rid of lead, mercury, arsenic, aluminum. Wow, all the things we've been talking about. This improvement was small, but the trend analysis shows that continued supplementation, like we said, it's a slow process, with orthosilicic acid, i.e. Silidin, could lead to a very strong detoxification without any side effects.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted to bring out to you today. That's what I put on the description if you saw it on Facebook. The detox that has no side effects, it's not going to make you sick. You take it every day, and it's like a slow, steady detox, like draining a tub.
Right.
And so that's the magic of that. That was the most beautiful thing, because side effects making you sick is why most people kind of say, oh, heavy metal detox, I've heard about that. I don't want to do that.
That's crazy. Silladin does a lot.
Crazy. So unlike other popular detoxification products, Silladin is actually very gentle on the stomach too.
I don't even notice.
You know, and that's weird because it has now one of the things in Silladin. It's not just silicon. It also has vitamin B12, selenium, manganese, and it also has a couple other things, including zinc. I am never able to stomach zinc.
How much zinc? I'm curious.
It has.
Because I cannot take zinc.
How much is in there?
45% of your daily.
Yeah, 4.5 milligrams, which is pretty darn good.
Not bad.
So anyway, it has, I found was the most pleasant thing to me. I'm like, oh, every time I take a zinc supplement, I feel sick.
Me
I
too.
don't feel sick with this stuff. I'm taking it every day. I have it right now in my Barley Max, which is right here. I got Barley Max in here with 10 drops of Silladin.
10 drops. Is that what we're supposed to take?
That's what you're supposed to do. It takes right on the says so right on the box. I just detoxed. Did you notice that? Okay. And it shows increased biological absorption compared to other forms of silicon dioxide. How about, and that's the beauty of the Silladin. That's why it's so great. It absorbs so well. So, long story short, here's what we want to offer you today. So, we are going to push this onto the screen. Here's what we are going to do. Silladin is already 10% off in our store. Okay.
Yep.
Barley Max can be 10% off, and you'll get free shipping if you do Silladin and Barley Max, any variety. So it can be like this berry flavor or the regular or the mint. It doesn't matter, whichever one you want. So you get a Barley Max, you get a Silladin, and you use the code Barley10 that you're seeing on your screen.
Okay.
And you will achieve free shipping because you'll get just above that $70 mark, and you'll get automatic free shipping. So you get free shipping, Silladin at 10% off, and Barley Max at 10% off. And that, my friends, is the best way to chelate heavy metals over time. That's what I'm doing literally right now. I do it every single day. I drink Barley Max every single day in my smoothie, if not more, because I love the way it just gives me clarity. It's that whole barley grass juice factor. And then the Silladin, I already mentioned that last week. What it's doing for me is that it's causing me to just think more clearly. I don't lose words. I feel like I've gotten younger by 5 years or something. It's great. It's already making the cognitive performance better. So it's wonderful. So give it a shot. Silladin, Barley Max. If you have one, get the other. You know, and but there's our deal for today. You get Silladin 10% off, Barley Max 10% off, plus free shipping. All you have to do is get the two and put in Barley 10 at checkout, and you will get it. So thank you very much for watching tonight, and we will see you next time on Laird Wellness Live. And we thank you very much for watching. See you guys.
Bye-bye.